Rick and Morty, Rick and Morty, Rick and Morty. That's all I'm gonna talk about for the next 2 weeks. Rick and Morty, 1,000 years, Rick and Morty. Oh my god, I'm so excited for the new season of Rick and Morty. For those who don't know, I love Rick and Morty. It's neat. They balance serialized storytelling, but also nerd things that only I notice, and I guess the internet notices too, a little bit. Too much, sometimes. Anyway, season 6 dropped, and I'm excited to talk about it. Oh my god, Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, we'll have a little party. Anyway, I had high hopes for this season. I was really hoping it was gonna be neat, and man, the season started really, really neat. For those who don't remember, last time in Rick and Morty.
Last time on Rick and Morty.
Evil Morty escaped and broke the infinite finite curve, which basically means they can't portal around. They can't be portal boys. No more portal time. Which is making Rick basically lose control of his environment because, you know, that's Rick's whole MO. Something I found right off the bat that was interesting is that Evil Morty doesn't really appear at all in this episode.
Guess that was all part of Evil Morty's plan.
Evil Morty, can we stop flattering this guy? His plan was to monologue and fuck off.
Which is nice. I think we need a break from him. I think he had a really cool arc. But we have a threat right now, which is basically Prime Rick. That's what they're calling him, Prime Rick.
That Morty is the grandson of Rick Prime, the Rick who killed our Rick's Diane.
I don't know, I don't make the rules. And look at me, I was right. Remember when I said that Prime Rick was going to be an overarching antagonist? We still have Evil Morty out there, and most importantly, we still have Murder Rick out there, who I'm betting my dollar is gonna come back. And now look at him, he's there. No one else predicted that. People thought he was just there for Rick's sad crybaby backstory, but he's also an agonizing threat. It's like my prediction of Rick slowly growing on the family more and choosing them over trying to slay Rick, and he was almost there on this one time, but he was tempted, so that's gonna be a point for later. We get Space Beth after they kind of almost die and talk about Iron Man, I guess.
Hey, remember like a second ago when you pretended not to know who Iron Man was? Who was that for?
Shush, Morty.
And man, let me just say this episode has a lot of sads, like a whole lot of sads.
We have grandkids. That's who Summer is. She's gonna get me out of here. She reminds me of you.
Too many sads, but still kind of out. We get my favorite thing, continuity. Don't you love that sweet, sweet continuity in Sad Time Rick? We get to hear what Diane sounds like, which I think is a little bit better than just having her be a robot or something. It kind of adds the appeal of her just being too distant and far away, even though Rick can kind of do what he wants. As well as still having serious elements like some hints about Prime Rick and the Cronenberg world and Jerry Blee. I mean, I guess we finally got confirmation that they did have the wrong Jerry the whole time. See, this show is smart. It takes little nuggets and little breadcrumbs of things that are supposed to be jokes, and they make it serialized. That's called good writing. So although Rick is super sad boy, we don't really learn much about his past besides he put the community that he was living in the time loop, which, you know, comes back later for Prime Rick time, kind of, sort of. Like, he's kind of there, but he's kind of on a TV. It's kind of like Wall-E a little bit, or Karen from SpongeBob. But it was still nice for the show to acknowledge this, as well as acknowledging, you know, Rick didn't lie about his past. He still has a lot of trauma from it, and he's being fleshed out as a character more because we could spend time in these kind of moments where he has really hard, gripping realities. But again, the show is about him coming to terms with his backstory, if that's what you want to call it, and accepting Morty, this version of Morty, you know, into his life. We're gonna skip ahead, but I think it's really telling when Morty says this line.
Yeah, well, you get it from him, not me.
I don't know him. You're my grandpa, Rick. Rick and Morty, 100 years.
Haha, see, I was right. It's about family and Rick growing with Morty and Rick and Morty forever. I like how Morty kind of had consequences for leaving the Cronenberg world behind. Like something that, I don't know if you guys remember, but at the end of the Cronenberg episode, the Rick and Morty that are about to die solve the problem before they die. So Morty could have gone back and used that cure to solve the problem, but he doesn't think about it because he's Morty and he's just a kid and, you know, Rick forces him not to think about it. But we had all this time where Morty could have done something about the Cronenberg world, and we kind of get hints that Morty is trying to amend Rick's carelessness in the season 5 finale, but he still doesn't go back to the Cronenberg world, except now where he kind of has to face the reality that his original Summer and his original mom died, according to Cronenberg Jerry, but Cronenberg Jerry is kind of an asshole, so I don't really know what to believe. Wouldn't that be something if they came back? Speaking of Cronenberg Jerry, Jesus Christ, man, I think this is the most threatening Jerry has ever been. It's so weird to see him so self-actualized because it really goes against his, general character. There's Jerry doing his balloon game. Good job, Jerry. And I think for the most part, he's kind of right. Like I just said, Morty had several times to go back and fix this, but he doesn't, and he leaves everyone to die. And that maybe isn't a good look for the hero. But Jerry is right. Like, damn, Jerry, way to call it like it is. And Morty kind of has to deal with the fact that he might, just be alone forever. Oof, man, this show, it's hard. It has a lot of sad, so much sad. LOL, they broke the fire, by the way.
Look around you, Morty. Do you really think this world is real? You'd have to be an idiot not to notice all the sloppy details.
Something I didn't see coming is having this Morty be Prime Rick's original Morty. I knew Prime Rick was probably going to be a general antagonist, but I didn't know it was going to loop around like that. And it caught me off guard. And that's what I like about this show is you can think about it and theorize it, but there's still things that surprise you because they pay attention to the fan base and they kind of see what's going on. And I think that was a really big advantage when they were confirming Rick's original backstory, is that no one saw it coming because people assumed that the show was smart enough to not show the backstory and have Rick be true to his word when he was trolling. But, that was it. It was right there, right in front of us. Good job, writers. You did it. You fooled me. Another thing that highlighted that Rick still has some growing to do in between now and however many seasons the show goes on is that Rick doesn't like hugging. So I don't know if you saw it, but there are a couple of instances where he was just like, no hugs. No hugs for Rick. As well as genuinely falling for Prime Rick's trap instead of saving the Summer and the two Beths that were introduced and are important to Morty. So that's how we know. That's how we can check in and see what's going on and see his character growth. He's like halfway there. He's like a little bit there, but he's not there yet. I don't really have anything to say about Space Beth and regular Beth. I thought they were cool to reappear. It was cool that Space Beth saved them, but it was nice that their interaction wasn't just like things that they have in common like the other time. But that's it. That's what I'm really excited for. To still see how Rick's story is going to develop and how the show introduced some new things, like Prime Rick, again, being this Morty's original Rick, as well as the Cronenberg world stuff, but still keeping some things a mystery, like where did evil Morty go? Are we just killing off Jerry's? Rick and Morty and South Park, I think, are the prime examples of how to write a narrative story that is still strong and doesn't decay and quality throughout such a long run, but also still, being good. And there's a lot of things that you have to change, like South Park changes a lot throughout its show run, but it's still entertaining and it still always catches me by surprise as far as the angle that they're shooting for. Rick and Morty is kind of similar in the sense that it does that too with just a more serialized story. And that's why I'm always an advocate for serialized storytelling in general, because the writers have a bigger ball to play with, a bigger dome to play with, and develop stories that are more meaningful than a character learns a lesson in one episode and then maybe forgets it, I don't know. But I think that's the way to do it, slowly giving you breadcrumbs for the serialized story, but still having episodes like the Decoy episode where it's still fun, but nothing really is impacted by the prime serialized story. So there we have it. I really like the season opening. I'm excited. I think they revealed just enough stuff, but still have some stuff left over. And I never expected that they'd make Prime Rick be the original Morty's Rick. Rick and Morty forever. Anyway, I just wanted to get my quick thoughts out there about this episode and about my excitement for the rest of the season and how I'm excited to see how Rick's story keeps on developing through the rest of the show's run as well as this season. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, do the things. Parmesan, I guess. Man, that was weird. That's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
Well, if it isn't the wind beneath my wings.
I don't understand why you don't just steal a Krabby Patty and all that confusion.
Not only will I soon grasp the formula, but I'll be rid of your bad memory as well.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please remember to leave a comment and share this with a friend or 2 or 5. Click here to subscribe, we really appreciate it. Click here to check out the main collaborator for this video. Click here to check out our video playlist for this video, where you might find similar videos that hopefully you like and enjoy. There's also a credits scroll here, where you can check out all the other awesome contributors. All their info is in the description. That's all I gotta say, KPOA!